Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Melissa here, coming to you live from Cork, the Republic of Ireland. My very first live, and today I have an amazing guest who's coming to us live from Toronto, Canada. Her name is Lily Ma. She is a coach and also a public speaker. She has been working alongside Evan Carmichael on his channel, doing a series called Unlocking Lily. And I would love for Lily now just for her to speak a little bit about herself and about her journey and how she found her one word, which is extraordinary. So Lily, can you tell my viewers and subscribers a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, my name is Lily. Melissa did a great job in introducing me, so I'm not going to add too much about what I do professionally. But as far as how I found my one word, I was lucky enough to be one of the first people to come across Evan's Your One Word concept. I was asked to read his manuscript at the time. And it was twice the size.
Wow.
It was huge. It was twice the size, and I was given a very short timeline. I think it was like 2 weeks to read the entire thing. It was like 500 pages long. It was huge. And at the time when I first read it, I did it strictly as a favor to him. I was like,
right.
Oh, he's a really nice guy. I'm going to just read this manuscript for him because he's been good to me. I'm going to be good to him as well. But when I started reading it more and more, I was like, wow, this is actually really good. To my surprise, there's a lot of stories in that that are relatable. And then I started reflecting on myself. It's like, how can I find my own one word? And it didn't come around until later. And then when I first found my one word, it was a wrong word. It wasn't the wrong word, but it wasn't the word for me. So I came up with the integrity. Because at the time, I was surrounded by a lot of people who I considered lacked integrity. And I thought, I was like, oh, I need to have integrity. But it wasn't the right word for me. So those of you watching, if you want to find your one word and you're sitting on a word and you don't feel great about it, and you wake up in the morning, you're like, I don't know. Something tells me, my intuition tells me that this is not the right thing for me. You probably want to go back and do the exercises again and find your one word again. So that's how I come around extraordinary. So with the first it was integrity, then it became extraordinary. And extraordinary, I had to really go back into the past, like really far, really, really far. I had to go back and think about the movies I watched. I had to go back and really, really, it went back to when I was like 6 years old.
Wow.
That's how far I had to go, because so many of us, we have so many things being pulled in every direction, and we're not present for ourselves, and we forget to connect with who we are. So I had to go back to like when I was 6 years old. I used to daydream, and I daydreamed about helping people become extraordinary. So that's how I came across it.
That's absolutely amazing, Lily. And I can guarantee all my viewers here that this lady really does know what she's talking about. Session with you, Lily, and I can see that you really do bring the greatness out in people, because you are, I suppose, really you're, how would I say, you're living your one word, you know, and you have put your life all around it. You are doing the things that you want to do, and one of those things is public speaking. Mm-hmm. And just in case, most people probably will know who Lily Ma is, but this lady really is extraordinary. She's also going to be doing a TED Talk. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Lily? Are you excited?
Yes, I have a talk coming up in September.
Wow.
It's coming up. Oh God, it is scary. It is so scary. So the TED Talk that I'm going to be doing is going to be on your one word, but it's my twist on it. It's how I came across it and how people are using it. What I found really interesting about your one word versus other types of personal development courses is that it's very simple. It's very simple, and you could find it within half an hour. And that's what stood out for me. And then it's actionable, it's scalable. You could use it to grow a business. You could use it to just live your life and be a great mother or be a great husband, whatever you want to do. But it's simple, and that's what stood out to me. And my TED Talk will be around how simple it is.
It's amazing, Lily. I'm so proud of you, because I've been watching you through this journey, and I think most of the viewers feel the same, that would be following Evan's channel. You know, it's a real inspiring channel, and Now, I'm not an entrepreneur myself, but his channel is built around that. But it's also the main core of that channel is his one word. And this book really does speak about that. And of course, I will definitely have more on that book. There will be a review coming up on this channel. But the next, the amazing thing is that Lily, I had a coaching session with Lily. And she really, what I found with you, Lily, is that you really do live to your word. And the more I watch you and the more I see of the series, I just see you just getting more and more extraordinary. And it really inspires people like myself, because that kind of presence is something that we all can touch. Because it's like when it's somebody just ordinary, it becomes extraordinary. And I think this is very special, you know, it's a gift. And it was a great, how would I say, it was a great way that Evan brought this this series into his channel, because usually we watch people on his channel that are already there. And for me, that's why you touched my heart, is the fact that you're bringing us along the journey. So I'm very excited to have you here, Lily. I just want to let you know that.
Oh, thank you so much. And that was the intention. Well, the intention for me to do the Unlocking Lily series kind of came out of like a spontaneous thing. So this was when I was transitioning from my full-time job into my current position. And Evans sends me a message on Facebook and says, I have an idea. And every time he says he has an idea, I get very excited because it's something big, usually. It's like, what's this idea? He asked, how do you feel about documenting your journey? And at first, I was like, sure, I'll do it. It sounds interesting, but I don't see how it's going to do anything for anybody. It's me documenting. I actually did it for myself to kind of see my own growth over time and maybe have people cheer me on, because it was a scary journey. And a lot of times, even though it seems like I'm very social and I'm always around people, the truth is I'm not. I usually do things on my own, alone. You can relate, Melissa, because you should record videos by yourself at home. And it could become very lonely. So I wanted to kind of have an audience where they could kind of support me, cheer me along, and I feel like I'm in a community of people. What I had no idea was people would get inspired to do their own thing as well. So that was the biggest thing for me. I think it was like the third episode. It's like, wow, people actually are getting inspired by my journey. I had no idea.
The impact you have made is amazing with Believe Nation, I think, you know, because people were really getting on board to support you. And because I think you're very relatable as well, you know. You came across as very down to earth, and you showed both sides. You know, you showed the extraordinary side, but you also, like you said, it's of course there's a fear always when you want to do something amazing and you're pushing yourself out there. But I have to say you did an amazing series, and the fact as well, you did say that you know, when you were recording, it took you some time to be able to do the videos. It was all very real, and I think this is a beautiful way of connecting with people, because people, they see a video and they think that it's so easy. And you brought realness to every aspect of the series. When I was watching your journey, I could relate to parts of it, you know. So yeah, Lily, you're doing an awesome job. I can't wait to see what else comes from you, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who make YouTube videos can relate. It takes hundreds of tries to get the videos right. And it's frustrating, but at the same time, if you want to get your message out there, you have to do your best. Absolutely. And that's what people don't see.
Yeah, definitely. And Lily, also in the coaching session, Lily was me find my one word. And we were sitting there and I told her, I think I found it, but I couldn't exactly. I was trying to explain to her what my one word was. And she was telling me, like it says in the book, that sometimes it can take time, you know, to find your one word. Some people it could take a couple of days, up to a couple of weeks. Another person it could take 3 months. But what I found for myself personally was presence was the one word. And I realize now why. And it's all because of the coaching session I had with you, Lily. So you really inspired me. And even though on that day, it was afterwards, You know, sometimes you can do a session with somebody and you can be learning something and everything might come to you right there. It was like afterwards, all these different things started coming up for me, and I could see why I chose that word. Now, I had read the book prior to doing the session with you, and I had done the exercises in it, and that's very important, obviously. But then I started to realize the reason I like the word presence is because I love to be surrounded around, or to be around people, whether that is watching people or listening to people or being in the company of people. But I love to see people in their presence, their best side. And that's what I try to do in my own channel as well. I share my journey. I don't know where it's going, but it has inspired me to reach out to other people. And hopefully I'll have some projects coming up in this channel related to presence. But getting back to it, for me, presence, like we spoke about before, is when somebody does public speaking, or if you're listening to music, it can go anywhere. And I went to the movies and the songs, like you said, and everything resonated for me around that word presence. But I think what I'm trying to say is like an energy exchange. When you feel good around somebody, when you watch somebody and they inspire you, if you read something and you get something from it, it leaves a presence. And I think this is so important. So this is my one word, and I'm hoping that I can live up to that. So thank you.
I am so happy to hear that. So happy to hear. And I don't think you need to hope to live up to it. I think you are.
Oh, thank
and that's that you are definitely doing it with your YouTube channel. But the way you're speaking right now, you're so present.
Yeah, well,
everything.
Before I came on here, I was thinking of different events in my life, and you know, the way you get so excited about something sometimes that when you're in the moment, you're not actually really there. You're thinking ahead, or you're thinking what's going to happen next. Today, I did my breaths, you know, and I just said, okay, today I just want to enjoy every minute. And I can tell you, definitely, I'm enjoying this. So, Lily, I would love my viewers to know a little bit more about your background, where you come from, and we know that you're living in Canada, Toronto, and we would love to know a little bit of that journey, where you were before Canada and why you went to Canada.
Okay, well, I'm from India originally. I came to Canada when I was 11 years old with my dad and my mom. And to be honest with you, it wasn't an easy transition for me, being an immigrant from India, which is a very hot country. And Canada is a very cold country. So just the weather itself was really challenging. I actually have never shared this story before. So when we came to Canada, it was in March. And it was freezing, and we didn't have proper clothes to wear, because we had in India, the thickest thing that you could have is like a cardigan that you would put on. And my dad, yeah, I can't believe I'm telling this story, but you know what? It feels right. I'm present. I'm going to tell you the story. My dad came with $500 in his pocket. That's all we owned, and a few clothes and a few belongings. And we had no money to buy anything. So as a result, both my parents got really, really sick. And I didn't know what to do. I had no idea. I was a child. I was 11 years old. I did not get sick. At the time, we were renting a room in a house with another family. And we had a tiny house, not much bigger than, probably smaller than the office I'm sitting right now. And I just remember walking in and seeing how sick my father was. And he was shivering on the floor. And just for people who don't really know much about Canadian healthcare, so we have healthcare in Canada. It's free healthcare, which is fantastic. It's great. But when you first come to Canada, there's an application process that happens. So when your application process hasn't gone through, you don't get free healthcare yet. So it's very expensive to go to the doctor. It's like hundreds of dollars to go to the doctors at the time. That's what I thought. So my parents couldn't go to the doctors, and they were just shivering on the floor. And you know what? My dad, who was extremely sick, still got up, wow, got on his bicycle, he didn't have a car at the time, got on his bicycle and rode the bicycle to work in the middle of winter.
My God, that is just amazing. It just shows where you're coming from, Lily. I think that your dad is really extraordinary too, to be honest.
And that's one of the reasons why extraordinary is such a huge word for me, because I saw him. Most people, if me right now, I'm so spoiled. If I got sick, I would probably still work, but I work in the comfort of my own home. I wouldn't have to go ride a bicycle, 20 miles to go to my job in the middle of dead winter when I was sick. So my dad really showed me hard work. And my dad was the one who actually taught me at a really young age, which is actually quite brilliant. He says that you're a woman, right? You are going to grow up to be a woman. You're a little girl. You're going to grow up to be a woman. Always be independent. Make your own living. And do everything on your own, because when you do become successful, you really don't owe anybody anything. Which is so good. It's amazing. But at the same, now I find that I have a balance. Like only until recently, I will ask for help. But when I was younger, no, because that always stuck with my head. But the truth is, I did not get here on my own. That's really the truth. I had the help of wonderful people. So as much as I want to be independent and do things for myself, it's also important to get help. So that's a balance that I had to really, really, really work with, especially when Evan came to me and offered me the position. I was like, wow, you're doing all this for me. I'm doing nothing for you. So it was something I had to struggle with. I still struggle with it. Honestly, I still do. And it's something I'm working through. Well, thank you, Melissa. I've never shared that story before with anybody.
This is it, Lily. But these are the things that make you see, and it's important that you share this greatness about yourself. And as you said, it totally resonates with your one word, I mean, you come from your father obviously is an extraordinary person, and he taught you great values. And it's also great to know that you've took it on board, but at the same time, you are balancing yourself, because you're starting to realize as well that it's a flow of give and take. Now, what you just said there is that you found it hard to be able to take that opportunity, but I think the reason you have this opportunity, and because you have embraced it, is because you are extraordinary, and also because you have something to offer. People need more people like you, Lily, in the world, to show us that things are possible. And I suppose Evan is kind of the hand, we'll say, or the help that made you more, we'll say, approachable to the world and gave you ideas and helped you along. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't happen without you. And you're doing all these videos on your own. I've seen other Hangout videos you've done with different YouTubers, and to every video you are, you're yourself, you're very authentic, and you speak your truth. And I think that's very important. And that is integrity also.
Yes. Integrity is still a big part of my life. It's just not the most important. And part of it, when we spoke about the credo portion, is how your one word breaks down. The first value I have is genuineness. Yeah. So, and it's a choice. Honestly, it's a choice that I make every single day to be a genuine person, because sometimes, because you want to make people happy or you want to come across a certain way, you may not always choose being genuine, because they may hurt someone or it may hurt you. So it's a choice that I make every single day that I'm going to be genuine. And I'm glad that you feel it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that everybody watching here today feels that too. And I think anybody who's watching Evan's channel feels that. And that's why you're here, Lily. You're here to teach us how to speak our how to find our one word and how to be extraordinary, or whatever one word we have. Mine is presence. And you've made that possible here today for me. I have presence today with you. And the people that are watching are also, getting value from this. Mm-hmm. So what is next for you? Is there something else you would love to do? I know you have the public speaking, and also Lily was a professional salsa dancer also. I forgot to mention.
I still am.
Oh, she still is?
Yes.
This side too, I would like to get to know a little bit more of.
Okay.
What inspired you to become a salsa dance teacher?
Oh my goodness. Well, the first thing is I never wanted to be a salsa dance teacher.
Right. Okay.
So it's something that just happened for me. But why I started dancing salsa, I'll tell you about that. So when I first started, I was a very, I'm introverted. I still am. I'm extremely introverted. Actually, Evan gave us one of the personality, the Myers-Briggs personality test. He gave it to us just for fun to see what we are. And I think I was like 82% introverted, like extremely. So when I first started out in my 20s, I just didn't want to be, I liked people. I really enjoy people. Like I like the fact that we do things together and all of that, but I just was very awkward and I didn't know how to approach people. I couldn't start conversations with people, and I didn't want to start the bar scene. I'm like, I don't think I can meet anybody there. And I felt like it was really holding me back. I felt like I would not meet a partner, a husband, or a boyfriend. At the time, I cared about a boyfriend, not a husband. I wouldn't find a boyfriend if I did not become more extroverted. I wouldn't have the job opportunities that I want if I did network more. But at the same time, I didn't want to be around a lot of people. I didn't want to do meetups where I have to talk to people. I just don't like talking to people. And I thought, what can I do that I could be around people and still smile and interact with people without speaking? And salsa dancing came around. So that's how I started salsa.
That's a great way. I mean, if there's anybody out there, I mean, this is a great message. If there's anybody out there who feels the way Lily has felt, that's an amazing way of overcoming it. And also, when you're dancing with people, obviously you'll be switching partners as well. And you must have got to know very interesting people. But at the same time, you didn't, like you say, you're dancing, so you don't have to speak a lot. But at the same time, you're putting yourself out there. You're very social, So that's an amazing thing for people to hear, because I'm sure there's many viewers out there that feel like they're introverted. And really, introvert, extrovert, it doesn't really matter. Once you have some way, I think, of giving presence. And again, I'm going back to my one word. And even though you've said all this, here you are. You've been coaching people for months. You've done a series on YouTube, and you are a public speaker, and you're going to be doing a TED event. So really, that's extraordinary, And you've done all this. Basically, you've kind of overcome your fears, and you're still saying that you would be more of an introvert. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm very, very much introverted. I prefer to stay home than to go out to a party. But the difference now is I love being around a lot of people if we're all carrying on the same message and the same mission. Right. So if I go to a TED event, it's because I'm going to be around a lot of people that are also speakers, and they also want their message across it, because each one of them have very important message to share. So I love being around that kind of setting. But whereas like birthday parties, barbecues, I mean, family, yes, I will go, but anything else, acquaintances, I wouldn't. I just doesn't really, it's uncomfortable for me, and it doesn't really provide me with a lot of happiness. And I feel myself thinking about other things, which is not good, because that's being not present, right? So exactly. I still am like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's very valid there, the point you brought up. Like, it is really who you surround yourself with, and it's all about comfort. And of course, when you're going to be doing a talk like that, you're going to be surrounded by like-minded people, and that is going to give you more energy, to be present and to get your message out there. So, I mean, if there's anybody watching here who would like to ask Lily any questions, I'm just going to check here, Lily, just to be sure that.
Let's see.
Have we any questions? No, we have nothing at the moment. But if anybody would like to ask Lily a question, you're more than welcome. Hello, Cindy. I can see Cindy is here. Very interesting topic, she said. Alex, the Blue Man reviewer, he said, hi, Melissa. Can we get a hi for Lily, please?
Hello. I'm checking too to see.
Yeah, I do, Lily. Have a look there. So anyway, even if we don't get a lot of people on now, it's because of the time difference everywhere. But I'm sure that many people will get to see this interview, and they'll definitely start following you in your journey, Lily. Where can people find you, Lily?
Sorry, I have you on both screens right now, and I'm not being very present.
That's okay.
I get it. And there's a delay. Sorry about that. Okay, there you go. I have paused you over there. Where can people find me? Well, I have an Instagram account. It's called It's Lily Ma.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Twitter. It's Lily Ma as well. And I have my show on Evan's channel called Unlocking Lily series. And I put out videos probably, we would like it to be every other week, but right now it's like every 2 to 3 weeks right now. So you could find me there. And everything that I'm doing is going to be documented on that series. It's just right now, it's a little bit behind real life. And part of it will be me doing collaborations. So showing how to do collaborations and featuring some of the people like you, Melissa, on that collaboration as well. But that's going to be coming few months down the road, probably.
Right. So
and if you, sorry, go ahead.
I said, there you are, guys, you're getting first-hand experience with Lily. Lily, what do you think people should do in order to find their one word? Can you give them one exercise that they could do to help them find their one word, to bring more presence into their life, and also to give them their values? Obviously, we know that they have to go into their own values, like the way you found your word through even your memories of your father. And I would love for you if you could give an example of how the viewers could find their one word, if possible.
I don't know if there's one thing. There's a few things. Well, I think one thing that people should really do is start to have more conversations with themselves. I think most of us lack self-awareness in the beginning. Melissa, probably for you, you did a lot of meditation, mindfulness exercises to become more self-aware, but most people are not that self-aware. And it's no one's fault. It's the truth is that we don't focus on ourselves. We focus on others. We focus on how to be a better employee, better parent, all of that. So everything is outside of us. I think one thing people should really do is talk to themselves more often. Take a moment and just think about all the things that make you really fulfilled and happy. And collect those stories, collect all those stories and all those memories, and just really focus on some words that come to mind. And the more you do that, the more your one word is going to be popping out. Because there's a pattern. Whether we like it or not, things don't happen coincidentally. It happened for a reason. And finding that pattern is what's going to help you find your one word. And of course, there's other things you can do as well. But one thing is talking to yourself more often, spending that time and being mindful of who you are.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. This is something I've been working on a long time, and I'm still on that journey. And I think, going inside and figuring out things and trying new things, and, it's a journey really, like what you're saying there, talking to yourself, figuring out what do you want, what makes you happy. All these is so important. And I do think what happens in life, to everyone, to myself included, we get caught up on the job if we're working, or our family life, and we get caught up in the external as well. Sometimes we watch TV too much, and all these things, the external. Sometimes we see the news as well, and we're in fear. I know for me personally, I can't speak for everybody, but I know the things that I'm not comfortable doing, and I know the things that make me comfortable. And one of the ways that I found mindfulness helped me was to just slow down, to calm down. Because I probably would be, I wouldn't say that I'm the most social person, but this is probably the most part of my life that I've ever been more inside. Since I had my two children, there was only a year between them. So of course I was at home more, but I still had to find a source where I could express myself, because I worked all my life. and I was a very social person, you know, so I probably would be a little bit more extroverted, you know. So for me, the big thing was to go inside, you know, and to accept who I was, and it went into all my values too. I think people need to know that, you know, it's so important to know really who you are, that you're not just going along with things for the sake of people pleasing, or for not hurting feelings or upsetting people, because I can admit I've done things like that in my life. I've been the yes person, which I spoke to you about, Lily, before. And really, you're not in your integrity when you do that. And even the people around you, even though you think you're making them happy, you're not really, because people, I think they feel off your energy when you're not really truly happy, when you're just doing things because they have to be done, like going into a job, for example, that you're not happy in.
Yeah.
Anything like that, you know. I think it all starts with, and of course, there's people out there that can't just quit their job. Let's be realistic, you know. They have to pay rent, and then if they have children, they have mouths to feed. But at the same time, we need to create a space for ourselves where, even if we can't do something right now, we need to go inside, figure out what it is that makes us happy, that makes us tick, that can bring our presence, you know, out, and figure out a way of stepping stones. I like to say it's like going up the stairs, you know, little steps to where you want to be, and to kind of understand and believe that you will get there, you know, even though if you are in a job that you're not enjoying, whatever, you know, try and do something, even just one small thing. Like for me, I couldn't leave the house very often because, as I say, I had 2 kids in a row, and I was trying to figure out, how am I going to be social? How can I interact with people? And of course, I had friends that called, but they have their lives too, they have their jobs. So I knew that YouTube was the way for me, because I love connecting with people, and I like, and I had been watching YouTube for years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I found you, Lily, you know?
There you go, you see?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I was saying earlier how you connected to me, because I could see the realness in you and the truth in you, because that's what I was looking for, to connect with people, and here we are. But what I try to say to people, really, it's all about going inside. You have to know, and it's important as well to know, like what Lily said earlier, about even if you are an introvert, and you don't want to be alone, and like you had said there, that you were afraid that you wouldn't find a boyfriend or at that stage or whatever, like you just overcame that very quickly. You said, okay, you started to break it down and figure it out. You know, okay, maybe if I go salsa dancing, or, you know, and, you know, it's all about just breaking things down as well, isn't it? And really figuring out ways and strategies to do things. And the only way it can be done, I think, is by going inside, like what you said, talking to yourself.
Yeah.
And it won't happen straight away. It's the same with diet, with anything, you know, with food. If you want to go on a good diet, it's not going to happen. You have to start small as well, just little steps, you know, change certain things and then work your way up, you know.
It's like when people eat a salad for one day and expect to be healthy. It's not going to happen. You have to do it over time. Actually, you made a good point about people that are still in jobs right now, but you still want to do something else. What you can do is start to suggest things at your company that could help you in that process. So for example, I discovered that I wanted to do more public speaking, and I discovered that I wanted to eventually become a coach. So in my company, I became part of the happiness committee.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I became a part of the happiness committee, and part of the happiness committee, we did mindfulness meditation. So I took part in that. It's like, hey, I'm really interested in this stuff, you know, so taking initiative and really talking to the right people. First, I spoke with my manager, and it was great. She was open to it. You're not going to always work with people that are open to these suggestions. And if you're not working for someone like that, then you have to really ask yourself if this is a place that you want to work at. But, you know, most of us don't have the luxury in quitting our jobs and doing everything full time. But there's things you could do within your company. So I did mindfulness with the happiness committee. I was very interested in public speaking. So every time we had group events, I would always volunteer myself to present the idea. So can I present the idea? And everyone loved it. They loved the fact that I wanted to present the idea because nobody wanted to do public speaking. So I did. I was like, okay, sure. Can I do this? Sure, Lily, that's fine. And then even to my more final days of my job, I started doing these vision boards with people. I was like, what are the things that make you really happy? What is your one word? So I started doing a lot of that. So you could try to do that within the company you're working for right now, because although you know you're not going to be there forever, but trying to make an impact there in your own way as much as possible so it doesn't have to be such a painful experience. Because it's a crappy feeling to have that, knowing that you're not supposed to be there, but you're still there, and it makes you very unhappy and not very present. So trying to find your creativity around it could help for the people who still have jobs that want to do something else.
That's a wonderful concept, Lily. That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about mindfulness? How did you come into that? Was it just something that you wanted to learn?
Well, it was a few years ago. I was working at my company, and I was experiencing a lot of anxiety. I went through, now looking in retrospect, I think I went through depression for a year or so. I didn't realize at the time because I kind of just lived my life. I think I was depressed, and I wasn't feeling like myself at all. Like I would walk around not feeling like myself at all. And my company started a mindfulness program, the company I was working for, and I got really interested in it, and I started doing mindfulness there. And then obviously you follow your curiosity. Then I bought books on mindfulness, and then I had an app. So I became very interested in meditation, and I did it consistently for probably 2 years. And then now I'm not as consistent. I try to do it once every morning, but I haven't been the greatest. So I have to get back to it. So it's not perfect, but I'm going to try to go back. But it was to help me overcome my anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety because I always would think about the future because I knew I wasn't living the life I wanted. So it helped me overcome some of that too.
That's amazing. I can really relate to you there, because for me, it was definitely a little bit of stress. I think that the fact that I felt a bit isolated as well, when I was kind of in home all the time, even though I was in the presence of these amazing children. But the truth is, it's hard work, there's no way around it. And there was days where my daughter as well, she went through some digestive issues, and there was lots of days I couldn't get dressed, and I would just be holding her in my arms. And that came to as well cooking food that was the most nutritious, but at the same time most gentle on her system. So everything in my world started to revolve around her, because if there's somebody sick or something like that in your life, it's very hard to keep present. You're trying your best. So I found, for me personally, I just did a course online, it just helped me to still be present with myself, but obviously to be there for her too. But I knew that I needed help with that. And it was just an amazing space where I could write what I was feeling and nobody was judging me, And mindfulness for me is all about awareness, like what you said. And, meditation too. I've tried that, and I've done yoga. I've done many different things. But for me, I find breath work works amazing, like I've spoke to you about before. And mindfulness is something that I have on this channel, on a Monday, because I really do believe that it can help people. It helps people to become aware, and I think it's all the different stages of it as well. Like you can use it when you're eating, you can use it to calm yourself down, you can use it while you're walking. You don't necessarily have to be meditating. Mindfulness is just being conscious, and aware of what's going on around you, the good and the bad. Unfortunately, sometimes that's the way it is. And but at the same time, to be able to detach, and be present for yourself and for another person. Like for me, for my daughter, there was days that I found that, which I'm sharing with you now, I can't believe this as well. There was days I literally cried, because I just didn't know how to help her. And I knew I was no good to her. Then I was like, this is not going to help. I have to be strong for her, but at the same time, I have to be strong myself. So I found, for me, the mindfulness was an amazing way for me to, like I say, I had a space to write because it was an app. And at the same time, it gave me the space as well to just take in what was going on, but not to attach too much to the outcome, because I was waiting for appointments for her and nobody could tell me what was going on. And I was always, like what you were saying, thinking ahead. And the only way that I could calm myself down was with mindfulness, because I always meditated before I had the kids. But obviously when they came along, it just wasn't practical. Like, I do it every morning, like I told you before. So I just do my breath work in the morning because that wasn't going to affect anyone. And then the mindfulness through the day. So I think it's really important that if there is anybody out there that suffers with anxiety, depression, or just wants to get in touch with themselves and talk to themselves, like what Lily said, you know, figuring out what they want to do and how to be more happier. And of course, finding their one word and all these things, but definitely becoming more present is a good way to go.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's a practice. It's not something that's you're gonna do it once and it's gonna work. Like although I am not as anxious as I was before, I still go through anxiety. And thank you for sharing your story, Melissa. You know, you're a mom and you have this daughter and you're crying, you don't know how to help her, you're in tears. And I don't have children, but I am a coach. And there are times that I have shed tears because I did not know how to help.
Yeah.
Like I just, you know, and although I don't want to call myself a motivational speaker, but some people may call me that. Mm-hmm. It's like what happens when the motivational speaker has no motivation? And I have had those days. I still have those days. Yeah. You know, I don't know how to help people sometimes. And it frustrates me. And, you know, I certainly don't, you know, I don't think it's at the magnitude of you being a mom with your daughter, but that's the closest I have felt of like helplessness. And it's like, I really want to help this person, but I just don't know how. And I'm frustrated. I don't show it at the time, but usually when I end the call is when I broke down in tears, you know, and Evan was there and he's like, oh my goodness, what's going on, right? Because I just did not know how to help. I did help, but not the way I wanted.
So, yeah, sometimes we can be a bit hard on ourselves, you know, as human beings, and I think everybody can relate to this. We've all been in situations where we want to give more or do more, and it doesn't matter how much we do. Sometimes, you know, it's just, we have to let life take its course and just move with it, you know. But yeah, definitely that was amazing for me, you know, because before that I felt like, you know, I was really blessed out through my life. I have to say, you know, okay, I've had experiences like any other person that things happen, you know, but for me, to see a small child as well, I just found that very difficult, you know, to see her crying or upset. So of course, but yeah, the mindfulness for me really did work. And not only that, watching channels like Evan, you know, his channel, just to to keep going and to see all these inspiring people watching you, you know, and speaking to you. All these things help, you know. I think that when things like this happen in people's lives, whatever it is, if they are in the wrong job or if there's somebody ill in their lives, whether they want to do mindfulness, but a good way to start as well is to reach out. And even if you are an introvert or extrovert, whatever way it works, YouTube is a great way to go, I think, to watch people who inspire people, you know. And Evan's channel, really, it's very broad.
Yeah.
So he has so many different series on different things. And for me, it was like, this is great. I'd sit down with Rose, we'd watch the Espresso in the morning, and she'd sing along to it, you know.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, she did. Used to it now because I'd have it on in the mornings, you know. But for me, it was a great sense of connection as well, because I'd be looking forward to see what was going to happen with Lily next, you know. And then when I'd see your series coming up, I'd be all excited to watch it. I may not watch it straight away sometimes. I might watch it when the kids go to bed. But these are all the things that, you know, that make life, you know. If this makes me happy, then why not do it, you know? And I think it's the same for other viewers, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, if it's only watching a YouTube video, but get some value from that too, you know? Put something into action for yourself. Do you agree with that, Lily?
Oh, yes, of course. And it seems like such little things, like watching a YouTube video. And I had this conversation with my husband last night, is happiness and what it means to people. I think I had a friend who was not in a good place. And he was saying that, oh, I live for just like some moments in life. I feel like my entire life is just like a moment here, a moment there. And it's sad because people are always waiting for this moment to happen. Like maybe for me, I'm a speaker, so I want to be a TEDx speaker. And then once that happens, what now? I have to find small things that make me happy. And I do really believe is the small things every single day that we do is what accumulates into true happiness. So for the people watching, if you're waiting for some big event to happen, it's going to happen for you. But then what now? Right? There's all these small, like hanging out with your daughter. Is it your daughter that you watch Espresso with?
Yeah.
Right? And then her singing along. And those are the moments you're going to look back on, 50 years down the road. It's like, those were like the true moments of happiness. Because my husband, I asked him, I was like, tell me about your, what are the things that make you happy? And he says, my grandmother in her garden, our grandmother, I guess, his grandmother passed away a few years ago. It's like my grandmother in the garden and how she would cook for me and how she would smile and laugh. And like, those are all small moments that you think about years later. So, take in those moments, be mindful, and your life will be a lot happier by being that way versus waiting for giant milestones to happen, because they will happen. And it's just that one moment that's going to happen. Like I got my TEDx talk. I was very happy in the beginning. And then now I'm still happy, but it's really the small things that, having this interview in the morning, watching you smile at certain comments that I make. Those are the things that I will always remember versus those big things. So I think that's very important.
Sorry, Lily. Yeah, from many people that I've heard speaking, will say the people who have made it will say, but it really is the journey, isn't it? I think
yes.
It's the journey, and that's the place you need to be in that moment on the journey, because once you get there, like what you say, what's next? Like for me, I remember before I had Rose, my daughter, we had been trying for a long time, and I had been cleansing, and I was doing raw foods, I was juicing, I was doing everything in my power, because I was having this baby and that was it. And, and then like you said, I had the baby and I was delighted, obviously. And then I fell pregnant again soon afterwards and I had Alex. And, but that's just it. It's all the little things after that, you get what you want. And then you're looking for something else. And I think all people are like that. That's the way we are as human beings. We're always looking to better ourselves. We're always chasing this idea of happiness. It's right there in front of you, Like even there with my kids, I look at them sometimes and it's all the little things, the funny remarks they do. Sometimes they fight as well, and it's not so funny. It's just the little things, and even for me, for my family as well, my sisters and my brother, I appreciate every moment I get with them because they're not living here, and I think as well, people don't appreciate their families like they should. And I think if people are in the same country as their family, or they have a sister or brother that calls to their house and are present for them, having somebody to talk to, even a friend. There's many people out there, they have nobody, they decide they're on their own, they live alone, and maybe they have a pet, but it's always a presence, of the pet, or, that helps people, I think, and like we were saying, like looking for the next thing, really, it's, of course, we need to be inspired and we have to, move on and all these things, but at the same time, we need to spend more time enjoying and accepting what is now. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a balance. It's a constant balancing act for us, and it's a lesson that I had to learn because I was always very achievement oriented. I had plans. I had different markers on my road, and like this is when I'm going to achieve this, and I achieved all of them. And I think that's probably the reason why I fell into depression all those years ago, because I reached all of those things. I got everything I wanted. I looked a certain way that I always wanted. I got the job, I got the money, I got the house, I have everything, but yet I still had problems being happy. So it's something, and then that's when mindfulness came in and everything else, personal development. And here I am. So it took a lot of work to get to where I am. Years. It certainly did not happen overnight at all.
Yeah, but you really are an inspiration, I think, for all of us, Lily. You know, you really are. And you're living your one word. So what about your husband? How did you meet him?
So I did not meet my husband salsa dancing.
I was waiting for it. I thought you were going to tell me that it was salsa.
No. We actually met online. We met online 8 years ago now. Is it 8 years ago? Yeah, 8 years ago. It'll be 8 years in October. So we met online on a dating site, which at the time, 8 years ago, it was not socially acceptable to have met someone through a dating site. So we didn't tell anybody for the longest time. And what interested me about him, I was on the dating site for probably like a week, and there was like so many different profiles. I don't know if you have ever.
No, I know about them because actually, one of my best friends, she met her husband through a dating site. And I was their bridesmaid, actually. I did her makeup and I was her maid of honor. And they're an amazing couple. And, you know, I know people, maybe some people, I can't speak for everyone. It's not for everyone, I would say, you know.
No.
For me, I can see how it can work because you're really getting to know each other. I mean, I know when you're out socializing with the bar scenes and all the club scenes, you're not really seeing the true person, you know. And I suppose internet dating is a way of exposing yourself, but at the same time, you're giving your values, your qualities, what you have to offer, kind of, to your partner. You get a person, and you can. You know, you can talk to them and get to know them better. So I don't see anything wrong with that, to be honest.
No, it was just funny at the time. And the website I went to was not a good website. I'm not going to mention which website it is. It was just a lot of people with really nice pictures. And that's about it. That's where I'm going to keep it, right? That's it. I went on the wrong website. But anyway, what stood out about my husband was his profile was very different from everybody else's. Like most guys, their webs, it would be like about their job, about their car, about their degrees, about them. You know, like, and I was so not into that. I wanted someone very unique. So his profile was what he prefers. And one of the things that stood out to me was he said he prefers puddles over mirrors.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes. So, and at the time, I was so tired of the superficial world. I was living a pretty superficial world. I was a very pretty young girl, but I didn't want to just be recognized for that. I want to be recognized for other things. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, isn't this someone that I would like to get to know? And he said, and what he told me years later, he's like, most people didn't even get what that meant. So it was kind of his way of selecting people out too. He would attract the right person to understand that.
That's amazing. And how long have you been married, Lily?
I've been married for almost 2 years. So in November will be 2 years. And we've been together for 8 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So, is there anything else? We don't have much time left now, a couple of minutes. Is there anything else you would like to tell my viewers about your one word, the book?
I don't know. I would like to tell the audience to continue watching your YouTube channel. I think we've spoken enough about your one word. They know how to find it. You talked about it enough, but really, Melissa, you're doing amazing work. And I know it was like an outlet for you to just kind of speak when you're at home, but really you are helping people. And not only that, you're helping people on Evan's channel as well, because I see you replying to people's comments and really helping them out. So that's really going above and beyond. So to your viewers, just hang out with Melissa more often.
Oh, thank you so much. To be honest, I've no bother commenting because I really enjoy people on the comments, you know.
Yeah.
Some of them have channels as well, you know, and it's lovely to be able to support them. And sometimes they support me too, which is great. But we're all kind of on the same boat, shall we say, you know, so it's nice to connect with people. Like for you, the way you said, you know, the way you go to your TED talk and you're going to connect with more like-minded people. I feel the same there, that there's people there that obviously some of them are entrepreneurs, but there's a lot of people just like me too, you know, that go there for the inspiration and to smile and to read the comments. And I like that. That's something that I do naturally. You know, it's not something I'm just doing to get something from, or I just really enjoy it, you know, connecting with people. And I think presence matters, you know. I like to acknowledge people. And I can see there's amazing people on Evan's channel, you know, that comment down along. And I was so delighted when you picked me for the coaching session, because I'd already said it in my mind. It was a great synchronicity. I said, I hope she picks me.
And I did. You see, that's the thing.
So delighted. I was like, oh, this is great. I was so excited, Lily. I couldn't wait.
Yeah, it's putting yourself out there too. There's a lot of people that will watch Evan's channel but would never comment because they don't feel confidence in themselves or whatever it is. But you will never get noticed, right? You are not going to get the opportunity. So one thing is to be aware and surround yourself with all the happiness and joyful moments. But at the same time, you have to take action, because if you don't take action, you're not going to get the opportunities, which is what you did. You took action and wrote the comment, and I saw it. And hence, we got the coaching session, we got the collaboration, and all sorts of things.
Oh, it's a great experience, I have to say. And I'm so looking forward now to go along the journey with you to see what else you're going to bring to us. But yeah, for me, it's very natural. I just love to comment, like I say, and all that. But connecting with people is so important to me. And what I love about YouTube is all the different nationalities, you know. Like, there's so many different channels that I follow here. And that I've been following for years as well, obviously newer channels and older channels.
Mm-hmm.
All have so much to offer, you know, and their presence really matters, you know. And I love to comment on their channels, because I want to let them know that it's so important what they're doing, you know, from the smaller channels to the bigger channels. It makes no difference to me. Once I'm getting value from it, once I'm smiling while I'm watching it, once I'm learning something, more importantly, from it.
Yeah.
It's very important to learn, you know, and even down to, like, there's so many different channels. My channels range that I watch, from gardening channels to growing your own food. I was watching juicing channels, and, you know, but it's amazing. You put anything into YouTube and you will get the answer. And these people, they're just giving it all away, you know, and that's what I love about YouTube. It's a real energy exchange. They just give, you know, and I think the way we can give back is by commenting. So if there are people out there who don't comment on channels because, like what you said, maybe it's lack of confidence or whatever it is, maybe you're too shy, it's really important that they do comment, you know, to acknowledge that if they are learning something, or if something works, whether it's juicing or whether it's in an inspiring channel, it doesn't matter what it is you're watching, always drop a comment. You know what I mean? Because it's lovely for the person that created the channel to see they're getting feedback, you know, that it's working, you know. And what I like about Evan's channel is he does many different series, he experiments. And if something doesn't work and it's the audience will say it's not taking to it, then he'll cut it, he'll detach from it very easily, you know.
Yeah.
But he always try to improve his content. He's always working very hard to how we say, get to the next level, but not in a false way. He's a very real person. He brings, I mean, we've seen his wife, we've seen his child, we've seen you on the channel, and even his employees, you can see he has a great respect for them, you know, and these are the kind of channels I like to watch. You know?
And he's exactly the same behind the scenes as he is in front of the camera. He is the same. He lives and breathes just the way he is. And you're going to be seeing that in the next episode. That's kind of, so a little sneak peek is Evan and I are going to be together answering some questions. So you're going to see that side as well, how we interact.
Oh, amazing. I'm so looking forward to it, Lily.
Hopefully that'll come out next week.
Okay, Lily, I'm going to say goodbye to you now, because we're nearly at the end of the chat in case we get cut off.
Yes.
And I would like to say, on behalf of myself and everybody watching, and for the future people who will be watching this video, thank you so much for your presence, and know that your presence really does matter. And I'm so excited to see your journey, because it is a journey. You're still on it.
Yes.
And,
beginning of it.
And I will see you soon, Lily.
All right. Take care.
Bye, Lily. Bye.
Bye.